My name's Ian and this is Alison. We work for a local educational charity called the Brentwood Schools Christian Worker Trust, which serves schools all around the Brentwood area. One of my favourite books of all time is entitled The Ultimate Book of Heroic Failures. In the introduction, author Stephen Pyle explains the idea behind the book. Anyone, he writes, can be a success. But it takes real and original genius to foul up big time. The people in this book are the all-time greats, gods in our field of study, who spurn mere drab success to explore the vast, magical and life-enhancing possibilities of getting it wrong. Any of us could make a mistake, but these great souls can turn the simplest, everyday task into a scene of jaw-dropping wonder. The tales of spectacular failure told in this book include the story of Matthew Boyer, who back in 1987 popped out during his lunch break for some golf practice in the African country of Benin. The golf range happened to be next to an airbase, and unfortunately, during his practice he sliced a shot over the fence into a passing bird. The bird plummeted from the sky and smashed into the windscreen of a plane which was about to take off. The alarmed pilot slammed on his brakes, skidded, and then plunged his plane into the country's 4 and only military jet planes. With one golf shot, Matthew Boyer had wiped out his country's entire air force.
And then there's the story of Steve Wynn, a high-profile art collector who was finalising the sale of Pablo Picasso's painting The Dream for $139 million American dollars, which was the highest known price ever paid at the time for a work of art. But while he was speaking, he accidentally crashed his elbow through the canvas of the painting and the deal was called off. You'll be happy to know that Mr. Wynn managed to restore the painting, and he eventually sold it 7 years later for $155 million.
We also shouldn't forget security guard Carl Shimin, who in May 1991 refused to let the Queen into the Royal Windsor Horse Show. "Sorry love," he told the monarch, "you can't come in without a sticker." Afterwards he explained, "I thought she was an old lady who'd got lost."
And finally, we must also mention Cha Sassoon of South Korea, who failed her driving test a spectacular 959 times. For a period of 3 years, she took the test every day, 5 days a week. After she eventually passed her test on the 960th attempt, she became a national celebrity, starring in an advertising campaign for the car manufacturer Hyundai.
Every one of us makes mistakes, although not necessarily to such extremes as these examples. But we all get things wrong sometimes. If we're honest, I'm sure we would all admit that. It might be an incorrect answer on an exam paper, or something hurtful we say in the heat of the moment to a friend or family member that we later regret. Or perhaps we make a decision to do something which seems appealing at the time, but we know is really not a good idea. 26th American President Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The only person who never makes a mistake is the person who never does anything." We all make mistakes. But what's more important than the mistake itself is what we do next.
It was Winston Churchill who said, "We all make mistakes, but only the wise learn from their mistakes." I wonder if you or I could be counted among those who are wise enough to learn from our mistakes. How do you tend to react when you get something wrong? Do you feel ashamed or embarrassed and decide that the best thing you can do is just to give up? Or do you quickly try to hide or cover up your mistake and hope that nobody noticed? Or maybe you look around you for someone else that you can blame. Or maybe you are one of those wise people who is able to own up to your error, to say sorry, and accept help from people around you to fix your mistake or do better next time.
The Bible tells a story about an ordinary guy called Peter. Peter was a fisherman who became a close friend and follower of Jesus. One day, Jesus was arrested by the religious authorities. He was put on trial, and Peter was waiting nervously in the courtyard outside. While he was there, 3 different people came up to Peter and asked him if he knew Jesus. On each occasion, Peter's response was to pretend that he didn't know Jesus at all, to disown all knowledge of him. That's not exactly standing up for your friend, is it? As you may know, the Bible goes on to record Jesus being put to death by Roman crucifixion. And then it claims that Jesus miraculously came back to life, in effect proving that he was the Son of God as he had claimed to be. But among the stories that are written in the Bible of a resurrected Jesus appearing to various people, there's a moment when Peter meets Jesus again. You can imagine Peter's embarrassment, perhaps even shame, at what he'd done in denying that he even knew Jesus. But the Bible says that Jesus took a walk along the beach with Peter, and during that walk, Peter said sorry for his mistake, and he accepted Jesus' forgiveness. And Peter went on to become a key leader among the followers of Jesus in the years to come. We all have the ability to choose how we respond when we mess things up. We can bury our heads in the sand, we can try to blame someone else, or we can take the wise route by admitting we've got it wrong and trying to learn from our mistake. As Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, once said, "The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing." Thanks very much for watching.